This episode of Nuff Said is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
Recording has started.
Hello, and welcome once again to Superconnectivity. I'm your host, Perich, the Professor Esser. And with me, as always, is my handsome and noble colleague, founder of the feast,
Fill me in, Perich.
That's him. Let's paint a little happy cloud, because everyone needs a friend.
Get some trees.
Yeah, get some trees and some clouds because you need a friend. So let's talk. So first things first, we're not doing a movie review. I don't know why, because honestly, this is Stan Lee's first posthumous appearance.
I think you and I were the only ones who saw it, because I don't think Lil saw it.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, you know, we have kids.
True.
Which is our excuse for going to these things. But I would have seen it anyway. You know, not for nothing. This was a good movie. But it does have Stan Lee's first posthumous appearance.
Ralph breaks the internet.
He doesn't have any lines, unfortunately. Yeah, Ralph doesn't wreck the internet. Although he actually does kind of wreck the internet.
Well, I saw a headline for an article online, and I didn't click it and open it, but I think their point was, when you think about it, who was the villain of this movie? Even unintentionally, who was the villain of this movie? Was it Ralph himself?
Very much Ralph.
Yes.
Yeah, Ralph himself is the villain of the piece. And it was interesting, because I was waiting for, yes, to do the old double cross. Oh, you're not going anywhere, Ralph. You're too profitable. But no, it's no, everyone was very cool. And it's just Ralph with his toxic masculinity and sense of incel entitlement to a female's affection. That is the real danger to the internet. Is actually dudes who can't deal with the fact that other people have a life and opinion. So we think that the world, basically, people who feel the world revolves around them. Which, if you think about it, as an 80s video game character, literally his world did revolve around him.
Yes.
Even though he was the villain. Yeah. Literally everything was about his life. And, there's a great aspect of this. I think maybe is even a point to be made about Ralph he's an 8-bit game. Or maybe a 16-bit, how those old school games, how many bits they had. But Ralph has a limited world and a limited view of worlds. Mm-hmm. As has been pointed out, his world seems to only have one level. Maybe things speed up a bit as you're playing as Fix-It Felix, but you're only really one level in Fix-It Felix Jr., not Senior. That is, I'm telling you, Wreck-It Ralph 3 has to be the search for Fix-It Felix Senior.
Daddy.
Yeah, because it's got to be, not for nothing. You always, in your third one, you got to make it more about the supporting cast. And I think the fact that Fix-It Felix Jr. has a father somewhere, and now they have access to the internet, they should be looking for it. There were a lot of things in this film that I think that they stepped away from that were and this is, and of course this is and I think they're going one way, and then they go in a completely different way that makes sense. You have to make sense when you go a different way, but they make sense when they go in this way. As an example, one of the things I was waiting to happen was a whole subplot about, and now everyone's really interested in the old Wreck-It Ralph game, the old Fix-It Felix Jr. game, Mm-hmm. Interestingly enough, the implication in that, if there is a Fix-It Felix Sr., Ralph wasn't the villain.
Mm. Yeah.
Because they reference it as the old Fix-It Felix Jr. game. But then again, I'm assuming there has to be a Fix-It Felix Sr. because his name is Junior, and who makes the first game called Junior? It's implied that he got his magic hammer from his father in the first one. So, I don't know, man. I don't know exactly what it is. But I could imagine the original Fix-It Felix is he's just using his magic hammer to fix things. Just places that were already wrecked. War in Yugoslavia or something. That's what the third one will be. Is Fix-It Felix Sr. actually got into the real world. And he's been fixing places with his magic hammer the whole time. And now they actually have to go out into the real world to find this mysterious human called Felix Senior, and he'll be played by I don't know, some guy with a Spanish name.
But I mean, yeah, I enjoy
that really dramatic. Oh, or maybe by Idris Elba. Idris Elba plays a lot of characters nowadays.
Me and Luke enjoyed. Luke and I enjoyed this movie. Neither one of us had seen the first one, but I think now Luke wants to see the first one, so we're probably going to get, Santa will probably bring it on Blu-ray. But
how have you not seen? Wreck-It Ralph?
I don't know. I didn't make the time, I guess. And was that 2 years ago?
Yeah, it's like on streaming stuff now.
I know. But I mean, he wasn't interested in that point. I didn't make time for myself, I guess. But I mean, it held his attention the whole time. So yeah, we're gonna get the first one. We'll watch the first. But no, I mean, I knew enough that I wasn't lost. But I don't know. Yeah. Like you were talking about Ralph and his toxic masculinity. I also saw it as like, I don't know if it's, you want to make the two friends or if it's even like a parent and child dynamic, but it's like, one of your characters wants to remain the small town person. The other one wants to go off to the big city and, make their fortune.
Well, yeah. And although, I mean, here's one thing I'll say. There is a very interesting aspect of this, which I think is, and this was this idea that I was going to get into, is that Ralph, as like this lower memory game, probably can't conceive of a world outside of his purview. And it goes to this idea of the small town, and I love that analogy, the small town, two people from the small towns, but one person is is going to go off and be the next hot thing in the big city. Yep. And the other person is just like, no, I'm actually really comfortable with, I want to go work at the machine shop my dad worked at.
I want to live in the small town, have my Friday night parties, where I bring the burnt pie and.
Yeah. Oh, burnt pie. The great thing is you can make it with any pie. You just leave it in too long. Yeah. And can I say that is without a doubt the best bee pun ever. No wonder it got so many likes,
Yeah, there's so many like meta jokes about the internet and stuff in this.
About this film. I'm sorry, what?
I said there's so many like meta jokes about the internet in this, and
well, but I think that one of the meta jokes might be coming to a theater near you soon. Listen, Google's in this film. We see a Google building. They don't go to Google. They go to KnowsMore.com. Is Disney building its own search engine?
Ooh, KnowsMore. Ooh, branding.
Oh yeah. Are we gonna get? Is Mr. Tudyk going to be getting residuals for the rest of his life as the KnowsMore icon? Because imagine that, not just Google, but KnowsMore is going to be right up there, voiced by Alan Tudyk. And when you click on it, you're going to type in your thing. Because they tried that with Ask Jeeves, and people did love Ask Jeeves as a concept, but it was not as interactive, and it wasn't Jeevesy enough.
Yeah, I mean,
Disney are the people that, yeah.
I mean, you had a couple who used to have Ask Jeeves. I mean, Yahoo used to be a thing, but then all of a sudden, Google became a verb. It's like, Google it.
I think Disney Marvel, being the Omega Corp that it is going to get into search, and it's going to be KnowsMore, KnowsMore.com, and it's going to be animated, because that's going to be, and Google's going to be like, oh, dude, we never thought to make search entertaining. We did like little doodles for people every couple of weeks, We thought that's us being artistic. Hey, and it's like, oh, and Disney's gonna be like, oh, you guys are cute. Oh.
And I mean, if you have your sound on, they can even have the voice. When you bring it up, it's like, how can I help you today?
Yeah, Alan Tudyk is gonna make a lot of money off of this deal. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and as you
mark my word.
As you type it, you can hear him guessing. It's like, wait, what? YouTube?
Yes. It'll be if you do it with the sound on. But yes.
Yes.
But you can just see, even silently, he'll be like just walking up there, and they're not going to make him a Clippy. They know enough not to make him a Clippy. They made him a little Clippy in this. They're saying, sorry, my autofill's a little overactive today, which is a great reference to other things, and does show, and for what it's worth, shows that Disney understands the frustration with AI. AI, like, Google Assistant, I hate you, on my phone. because I listen with headphones. I do buy cheap headphones. I'll admit it. I'm not, I'm not buying the tweaked audio headphones. I'll admit it. For my cell phone, I go to the dollar store. I get my dollar store headphones, and you pay a cost. And one of those costs is Google Assistant. Every 5 minutes comes up and says, and I've tried to disable it. I've tried to silence it. It's like Google always comes back because Google just does. You can't silence me. Google is like the Wreck-It Ralph of the internet. It's like, you can't go away from me. You belong to me, Google says. And that's why Google is in a bad position there. But anyway, my point being is that it comes up constantly. And it says to use headphones with Google Assistant. It's like, I'm not trying to, So please understand that, Google Assistant. I don't want to talk to you. And that's Google for you. But I think Disney is going to create its own Knows More app, and that's going to be the new king of search. And then Disney and Warner's will rule it all. You watch. It's going to be Marvel DC forever in a constant battle.
That would be some, I don't know, brilliant branding. It's like, oh yeah, it started off in this movie, it became this big, huge website, and
yeah. Well, I'm watching it. I'm thinking. And the thing is that they had Google in it. They showed a Google logo, which means that Google paid to be in it. But either maybe Google didn't pay enough to be the search engine, but it's not like Bing did.
Because
it's not like you couldn't animate Bing or animate a Google. You could do a Google Doodle. And you could even be the Disney Google. Say, well, it's Walt Disney's birthday today.
Oh, my Disney.
Oh, my Disney, yes. Well, and great meta gag. No one understands Merida because she's from the other studio. I love that. None of us do. She's from the other studio. Although, what I really want is I want the first episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to have Fitz walking in and saying, I don't know why everyone was laughing at that scene about Merida. It was kind of clear what you said.
Oh, you could have Fitz or Simmons or somebody using Daisy using knows more.
Oh yeah, honestly, like I said, watch, Knows More is coming. Oh my gosh, Knows More is going to be a part of Disney Plus.
Oh, that's your search engine on Disney Plus.
Yeah, Knows More is going to be there, and then Knows More is going to say, would you like to know anything else about the internet? I found 5,720.
But you mentioned Stan Lee, but we also got another Marvel cameo in this movie.
Oh, we got a lot of Marvel cameos in this movie.
Yeah, but in the speaking role, I love the Q&A just with Groot, and just every answer was, "I am Groot."
Yeah.
What was that?
Baby Groot though.
I know, but what was that first guy's? Well, cuter one, but yeah, what was that first guy's question? It's like, oh yeah, and was it the first Captain America? They mentioned the World Tree, and I am Groot. Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Well, yeah, of course, because here's what I'll say is, I don't know if the Groots, because the Groots are a planet of Groots, do derive from a planet of living trees. It would not surprise me if, in the same way that Gaia has infused the world of Earth, and specifically Thor and other characters, would not surprise me if Yggdrasil has infused the world trees of other planets, and perhaps even had a planet that was a planet of trees like herself. So yeah, I'm down with that. I would guarantee that Groot is part of Yggdrasil, though he is only part of Yggdrasil in the same way that we are all part of Gaia. And so, bam, drop a little Marvel knowledge on you.
But I just love Vanellope when she's trying to get the like. She's like, she pushes what that last person asking questions. Yeah, he's gonna say, "I am Groot." Okay, hit the button. Give me some likes. But didn't she run right past Iron Man? I would have been like, "Hey, can I borrow $27,001?"
Yes. Well, although again, this is one of these situations where the hero causes their own problem. Because not for nothing, the only reason why it got so expensive was because they drove up the price between themselves. Yeah. I was actually waiting for a Deus Ex Machina where they said, okay, so the next highest bid was this. And it was just going between the two of them on and on as they go through what the next highest bid was. And they still had the highest bid because they were the last person to bid, because once they went to a ridiculous amount. So they really only needed $1,000, which was the last big bid that Vanellope made. But actually, even before then, I think Ralph and Vanellope actually even had a higher bid like that. So they were like, it would have been like $350. So there's lots of ways they could have explored this. I'm sure they really talked about all of these in the writers' room. Oh, by the way, spoilers.
Yes.
Okay, but we don't even know. Here's the thing: is no one even knows why they're like. Why are they? Because we haven't actually explained the plot point. We open up our film with Vanellope and Ralph in the after hours, hanging out as they do in everyone else's games. Weird that they don't just turn the games off every night. That seems like it's a real it resets all the high scores. And of course, if you're that kind of a business, you probably make money on the high scores. Okay, you got me there. I thought it was logical, that one there. But man, you think about like a game running 24 hours for like 40 years. That's got a lot of cache. But I guess it has no it has no RAM memory. Maybe it doesn't have cache. So it's like you think about how games run slower, but it has to have some base memory to hold all the high scores. So it's got to have something going on there. I'm just saying that's going to cause it to glitch after a while. But getting back to the actual story. Sorry, I get on tangents. Phil knows that. He tolerates that. Why you people listen, I have no idea. But the opening subject is that they're talking, and Vanellope is saying to Ralph how she feels stifled in her game because it's every level's been unlocked and all this kind of stuff, and she just drives around in circles, and there's no thrill of a new race for her.
Yeah, which
is very interesting because it really suggests a much deeper level of sentience to characters than maybe we see, and really the idea of a self-replicating. I mean, really, this is the prequel to Terminator in a fun way.
Yeah,
because really, the AIs are sentient and have money. That is a very scary concept when you think about it. But let's get to that in a minute. Vanellope says she wishes there was just another level to do, and so Ralph goes in and he digs a new level for her, which isn't part of the official level.
Yes.
Which means, one, that Vanellope loses the race because she goes off on this new level and has this fun. But more to the point, and this is the kind of the scary part, is the person who's driving the car isn't in control.
Completely, yeah. She's fighting Vanellope for the control, yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of spooky, weird. That's like Maximum Overdrive kind of stuff right now. Where it's like, why is the machine not letting me play the game? And also it makes this weird thing, like, what if a really bad driver picks Vanellope? Does she just automatically win, or does it opens up, it raises more questions than it answers. I'm just saying. That's a good drop for you.
Yes. But no, but previously, even if the characters are sentient, they were like confined to the arcade, but now they have access to the internet. That's when it gets scary.
Because of course, and again, apparently no one is playing Wreck-It Ralph. No one has played Wreck-It Ralph for like 2 days.
At least, yeah. Yeah,
which is kind of sad in its own way. Because that although I gotta say this much for it, because essentially what happened, because Ralph is in Vanellope's game the whole time.
Yeah.
And so they're watching all the people outside, literally breaking the fourth wall, try to figure out where to get a new steering wheel because the girl accidentally breaks the steering wheel. That girl must be ripped, man. Or it's just a really cheaply made game.
Or it's that old, maybe after time it wore down.
Yeah, I guess so. Who makes cabinet level? Although racing games are still very popular.
Yeah.
So, and there are still every movie theater has an arcade, and Dave and Buster's is still buying cabinet games. So, It's like cabinet games. There's still a manufacturing industry for
Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah.
Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese still exists. Although their cabinet games are not. They don't have very many cabinet games. They have much more games of skill now because kids like real world interaction. They like ball in the cup, man.
Skee ball.
Don't get me started on skee ball. There's a whole other question about whack-a-mole in that because they talk about the people acting up around the whack-a-mole. It's like whack-a-mole isn't a video game. The moles come in from whack-a-mole. What? How does that even work? How does a physical, pin and crank system game interact with the video games. That's crazy, man. But
here's the other thing you were talking about. Knows more being the new search engine. So like when they break the steering wheel off the game, you know, the owner, I forget his name, he was like, oh yeah, they haven't made parts for that game in years. So one of the kids thinks, hey, let's go on my phone and look on eBay, which I don't know what they paid for that advertising, but that's good advertising because like, I don't think my 5-year-old really knew about eBay before, but I heard him say eBay at least 2 or 3 times yesterday. So eBay's in his head now. So
I love the fact that they had the e-boy.
E-boy, yes.
And here's what I'm going to tell you. I wonder if maybe eBay didn't even pay for that. Just someone said, "Oh, let's create the e-boy, and then we'll have eBay license e-boy from us."
Well, that's what I was. Well, that's what I was even wondering if, like, did any of those companies have to pay, or was, I mean, like I said, free advert? If it's free, were they just like, yeah, sure, go ahead, as long as you don't paint us as like a murderous corporation. Yeah, sure, go ahead, use our name because. Like I said, I don't think my 5-year-old really knew about eBay, but it's in his head now. Like I said,
I don't think Google would have allowed their name to be used if they knew that Knows More was doing the search. You know, that's the thing. I think Google just said, oh yeah, we just want all the big names there. We're gonna have Amazon there. We're gonna have Google there, and probably sold it to. And honestly, there's a guy who's the salesman or girl or woman. Is women and men and people who are gender amorphous, who are selling these things for Disney Incorporated. All hail Disney. Hail Disney. Yes, exactly. Watch that salute, Phil.
But I know. But it was. But yeah, that was the other thing. It seemed like everybody's avatar matched with them. Like every male had like a male avatar, every female had a female avatar. I'm like, that's not the way it always works. I mean,
well, here's what I'll say. Clearly, the avatar was not a chosen avatar, but was an avatar of the person. Basically, it was a representation of people strolling the internet.
Yeah.
For example, if you were to go into, what was the name of the game? Death Race?
Slaughter Race, yes.
If you were to go into Slaughter Race, you would, of course, you would have Nightwing PDP, but you would choose an avatar that was reflective of Nightwing PDP.
Yeah.
So you would look like Nightwing. You would be Dick Grayson. Not the Dick Ward Burt Grayson, but Burt Ward Dick Grayson, but a different Dick Grayson. You would be Dick Grayson. We know this all. Right. I would be Ben Grimm. It's okay. We all have our things. But as you enter into the internet, you have to have an icon. And they made it look like you because it's you. Because clearly there's some kind of magic going on in this universe with the sentient machines and all this kind of stuff. This is clearly on the cusp of magical thinking. Well, not the cusp, but it's 100% in the realm of magical thinking. But if you extrapolate it out, there is a magic in this universe. To give us our Pixar theory to tie it all back together, there's a magic in the universe where the machines were always alive. It wasn't about gaining sentience. They always had sentience. Bum, bum, bum. It all ties back to the Brave Little Toaster, the real first thing in the new Pixar theory, because it's all Disney. It's actually a Disney theory. There you go. Because what was the first thing in Pixar? A ball and a lamp.
Yes.
And what was sentient in the Brave Little Toaster? A lamp. Conspiracy. Illuminati confirmed. Well, we got to get those likes so we get the money. So we got to tie into all the things that are popular right now.
Here. Just puts it on the beginning of all our videos. Here, give us likes, please, give us likes.
Yes,
I need likes.
Exactly. Anyway, so the plot is the steering wheel breaks. They see that you can get a new one on eBay, and not for nothing. If this machine doesn't bring in $200 in a year, how are you keeping this whole place afloat? Did Litwack win the lottery and just wants to run a thing? It's not like a profitable business anymore. It's just, this is fun. Although, hey, happy 11th birthday, Sweezy. I just want to throw that out there.
Okay.
On the first one, it says happy 6th birthday or 9th birthday. I actually think it was 5. No, oh my gosh. I was working at Phoenix. It was about 6 years ago that the first one came out. So no wonder you didn't go to it. I don't even think Luca was born then.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, and so it was her 6th birthday now, or 5 years anyway, and now it's her 11th birthday. Svisi. If you see at the sign, it says happy birthday, Svisi, SVZY. And the first time it says like happy 5th or 6th birthday, and now it says happy 11th birthday. So they're being consistent in their continuity.
Oh yeah, 2012, Wreck-It Ralph. So what's 6 years ago?
Yeah. No, I know, man. Gosh, man, where does the time go? Anyway, but yeah, that was Wreck-It Ralph. I'm gonna wreck it.
But luckily, Mr. Litwack gets Wi-Fi for the arcade, so that's how they're able to access the internet.
And now we all
the router.
Yeah, it's high score with a 0, not a no.
That's right.
Yes, that'll be the new most popular password on the internet. They go to the internet and they try to figure out a way to make money, and of course they see Spamly.
Oh yeah, make money playing video games.
Yes. And he actually, not for nothing, for what it's worth, he's actually honest about it.
Yeah.
You know? You can make money playing video games, find these rare items, and we can transfer them, like so much Bitcoin, and we can get and very convenient that Buzzy Bucks are a thing. And I don't know that YouTube actually has its own Bitcoin denomination yet. I can buy BitDollars and sell them, you know. But
yes, but this wasn't YouTube. It was BuzzTube.
BuzzTube, yeah. So I mean, maybe in the coming apocalypse when BuzzFeed and YouTube merge, I don't know.
Yeah. So was that a conscious decision to make it not YouTube, or do you think YouTube was like, yeah, no?
Well, YouTube is owned by Fox.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Yes. Okay.
Yes, they got Marvel. They didn't get YouTube out of the deal. Fox ain't selling everything just to get.
Yeah, but it's like they don't own eBay either. So
no, but I could imagine, and for what it's worth, I mean, BuzzTube comes off very nicely in this. Although obviously people who are YouTube sensations like Black Nerd and others have commented like, "Oh, that's a little too close to the truth. How little you get paid for this."
No.
Andre, look him up. One of my favorite YouTubers. Black Nerd Comedy. They come off very nice in this.
Yeah.
As this very kind of egalitarian company where it's like, yeah, you make a video that everyone likes, we're going to put you out there.
But they also showed the downside, too, when Ralph read the comments.
Yeah, those were not the worst comments on the internet.
Well, Charlie, it's a movie for children, too. You're not going to see, like, oh, this effing sucks, or,
Yeah. True that. What I will say is, yeah, I mean, and it serves the purpose, which is don't read the comments. Although, I'll tell you something. Because I also saw this film with Toxin Gamer. And
no, you saw it with Tristan Esser. Not Toxin Gamer.
Yeah, both of them. They both came with me. Two people in the same room.
Okay.
2 people saw them in the same room. I vouch for it.
Okay.
And Toxin Gamer said that his comments are actually very positive. He really doesn't get a lot of negative comments. He did say that one person did get on him, because he said that now that Toxin Gamer is branching out, because now he's doing a lot of speed paint, and he's doing other things other than he hasn't done a plushie video in a while. He had mentioned, and they were saying, well, someone said, when you do a different type of thing, you should create a new channel.
Oh.
And I told him, you know what, you don't have to create a new channel just because you want to do something new. A lot of people do that, but the fact of the matter is, if you don't want to do that, that's not something you have to do.
It's your art. You do what you want.
Exactly. And we actually had mentioned, because I had mentioned to him that we had recently started watching JonTron a lot. JonTron's a very funny guy on the internet. He lives in New York, Brooklyn, I think, or he has a Brooklyn accent. Anyway, but he's a very funny guy, JonTron. And he recently did a post about how he wants to do other things than just what he has been doing with JonTron. He wants to expand it to different types of comedies. So, you don't always have to. You can keep all your comedy on the same network. You don't have to create a whole other channel just for a different type of content that you yourself are creating. If people like what you do, they're going to like you're curating your own content. And if they like you, they're going to like what you have. Like if you're a fan of Capes and Lunatics, if you clicked us on that little bell, you're going to like Superconnectivity too. You're going to like the Newcastle crew. You're going to like all the sidekicks, You're going to like all these things because these are things that'll speak to you because even though they're all very different in the way they approach things, the people making them are the same people and you're going to enjoy what they have to say. That's my opinion. Anyway.
Preach!
That's enough about that. Let's get back to Wreck-It Ralph. We've covered barely a fifth of this film yet so far. We see that Spamly, who is a spam bot, although again, a sentient spam bot, and a nice enough person, actually a really nice person, and I want to say that was voiced by, what's his name?
Bill Hader from Saturday.
Oh, that was Bill Hader. Okay, I actually thought it was someone else.
No, yeah, from Saturday, used to be on Saturday Night Live. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Bill Hader. Although it's funny because actually Bill Hader always reminds me of the other actor I'm thinking of, who's the guy on Boardwalk Empire.
What's his face?
Steve Buscemi.
Buscemi, yeah.
Yeah, so Bill Hader and Steve Buscemi. I don't know, man. I think those guys have some genetics shared somewhere.
Yeah, but I remember months ago, I think Hader said something about he had a part in this, and I think Hader Hader's been getting some. I forget what other movies he's in, but he's been getting some voice work too. So.
Oh yeah, well he's got a very distinctive voice.
Oh yeah, and he could do a couple different voices. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, exactly, and it's like Alan Tudyk,
Yes.
Anyone who was a fan of I've forgotten the name of the show I like from DC.
What, Teen Titans Go?
No, the one that you guys all hated.
Powerless.
Powerless, yes. Alan Tudyk from Powerless is a very different character than Knowsmore. He can do different voices because, as an actor, first off, you have to be able to do different voices, and you have to create new characters all the time. And but Bill Hader has a very Steve Buscemi quality to him. I think they're both in the same part of the world here on the East Coast, so that's I'm sure it's just their accent, but it was neat seeing Spamly actually try to be heroic, although of course at the end of the day it is the princesses who say that.
Oh yes, that's right. The princesses saved the big strong man.
Yes, there's a big strong man in need of help. Quickly, princesses! And then they all use their special powers. They spin Rapunzel's hair into... and not for nothing, no one ever said that Sleeping Beauty actually could spin. She just was cursed by a spinning wheel. She didn't actually ever use a spinning wheel. In fact, arguably, she had never seen a spinning wheel in her whole life. There are these little problems with the film. Like, for example, and when you actually do watch Wreck-It Ralph, there's going to be a quality to Wreck-It Ralph. You're going to say, wait a minute. If she's a glitch, how is that happening? And you'll see it when you watch the first... I'm not going to spoil it for you.
Yeah, okay.
It's a whole plot line. We're going to watch Wreck-It Ralph and go, wait a minute. If Vanellope's a glitch, because she can still glitch, how is she doing this one thing?
But... And Spamly, you're saying he's a nice guy, which he was to them, but did he have maybe somewhat of a sinister side? Because he seemed to know at least a little bit about the dark web, and he knew where to take Ralph. And
well, yeah, but again, that comes to this question of just because someone's a bad guy, that does not mean he's a bad guy. To quote Sandeep from the first film, he knows about this stuff. He's not trafficking in viruses, but if you ask him, where I can get a virus, he's going to say, I know where you can get a virus, and not for nothing, when you see Ralph wrecking through the walls in that scene, the virus is going to get out, because that's clearly what those walls are there for. And it is fascinating, because if you actually analyze that whole idea, this idea of this invasive code, like Vanellope, like Ralph, they really are viruses.
Yes.
Especially the Wreck-It Ralph virus, because he wrecks it.
Friend.
Yeah, friend. And they really, and I love the fact that and it's, like I said, it goes into this question about the sentient programming. The sentience of things we imbue love in. Oh! And along those lines, did you get the Spoon character in the Toy Story trailer? Toy Story 4 trailer?
I I don't think so. I saw there was like 1 or 2 Toy Story 4, but yeah, I don't think.
Okay, so there is one where basically all the toys are playing, and there is a spork with a face drawn on it and like pipe cleaner arms. And all the toys are dancing, and the spork says, "I'm not supposed to be here! I'm not a toy!" And I get the feeling that's the plot of Toy Story 4. About how love imbues these inanimate objects with this sentience. In the way that, as again, going back to the Brave Little Toaster, that love of your appliances gives them that sentience.
Mm-hmm.
And man, Brave Little Toaster. I actually think that there is a much deeper Disney unified theory that is way better than the Pixar universe theory. That actually explains everything and envelops Pixar right into it. And it doesn't rely on any time-traveling witches. It just has to do with the fact that there's emotion that imbues things with life. And because all coding is man-made, someone is loving that code. And so code must have some sentience to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that is what you're looking at with this story, is this idea of these sentient creatures released on their own internet, trying to find their way home, which is so many things. But of course, when I say home, home is not where they come from. Home is where they belong. And we get Vanellope's wonderful little musical number that proves she is a princess, because that's how you know you're a princess. Is the music starts when you start to talk about what you want. And what she wants is to this place called Slaughter Race. And Shank is cool. And Shank is her new friend.
I just love those to see with the prince when she first meets the princesses and like, they're ready to attack her. They think she's an intruder. What is it? Cinderella pulls off the glass slipper, just, smashes it like a beer bottle, ready to like.
Yes. And that's great. Well, hey, not for nothing, Cinderella grew up on the mean streets. Let's not oversell Cinderella's hard life, man. This is a girl that was abused. She's gone through a lot, man.
Mm-hmm.
This girl, not for nothing. I mean, her, you really want to go into the stories, man. Her stepsisters were psychologically abused as she was physically abused.
Yeah.
So you really go into that. Really, that stepmother was kind of a sociopath. But Cinderella, yeah, she's had a rough life, man. She ain't gonna play. Cinderella don't play. That's one thing you can say for sure. And yeah, so she breaks the slipper. She's ready to fight, man. And so parallel with that episode of Legends recently, where about how ridiculous it is to ask for glass slippers. Of course, she didn't ask for glass slippers; you just gave them to her in the movie, and of course, in the original story, it's actually a fur slipper, not a grass slipper. That's okay. Where were we, Philip? The movie that we liked.
Yes.
As we're going through all this stuff. Essentially, they release a virus into the game because Ralph wants to slow down the game. And they show earlier that there's a virus, which is weird. That how does Tron have a virus? I think Tron just has a glitch, but maybe they didn't want to associate glitches with it because
that was like an emotional thing with Vanellope. Yeah.
Yeah, they call it a virus, but really it's not a virus because it's bad code. It's a different thing, but it causes the game to stop because. Unless it's hooked up to the internet, there's no way a virus can get into a Tron game. Yeah,
but it had that problem before he even activated the router and stuff, so it wasn't connected to the internet at that point.
Exactly. Yeah, so the virus. So it was just that Tron had a defect in it. Which why hasn't Tron been unplugged?
Oh yeah, true. Yeah,
there's some logical inconsistencies. Here's what I'm going to tell you. If you really want to nerd it, this thing has a lot of problems.
Or, unless no one's reported the glitch yet, and maybe Litwack doesn't know about it. I don't know.
I mean, that is a possibility. That is a real possibility that Litwack doesn't know that there's glitching. Because, again, apparently no one has played Wreck-It Ralph in 2 days. Because they make the point that he has 24 hours to make the bid. And he makes the bid just before 24 hours. But they go into the internet in the evening, which means an entire day has passed, in which no one has played Wreck-It Ralph. And while Vanellope, as she points out, well, first off, her game was unplugged, but that there were 16 other racers, no one's going to miss her if she disappears, which is kind of ridiculous because clearly everyone did like her and people were choosing to play her, and they would probably be disappointed when that does happen. It may just eventually lead to the game not being at all popular, but
she wasn't the only one
in it. There's a lot of economics in this.
She wasn't the only one. Yeah,
this is a children's film, and sometimes their adherence to strict economic laws of supply and demand are not precise. Okay.
Or it would have been funny if they would have showed someone go to play Wreck-It Rel or Felix or whatever. If they would have went to play his game and they showed one of those other characters and they're filling in for him.
Yeah, well, and that was something else, and maybe that's going to be in the next DVD Blu-ray because Felix said he would cover for him.
Yes.
And so maybe they had actually figured out a while ago, look, if one of us actually is out of the game, we really need a system in place. So that it would have been nice to see one of the house characters say, I'm gonna wreck it, Or maybe they get Zandeep to come in. Zandeep, come on, we need you. I am going to wreck it. Well, they've already established that this game had other things, or maybe Kubert comes in and just starts wrecking things.
Oh, nice.
Because we saw that Kubert got unplugged a while ago, so they're homeless, so they're all hanging out.
Or Sonic.
Sonic apparently hasn't been unplugged yet. It is actually kind of interesting in this thing that we had this idea of video game refuge, something we didn't really discuss in the first one, because this is the idea is that, and again, how do you go see this? Well, trying to see the first one. I don't know, Phil. But anyway, it's established in the first one that basically when the game is unplugged, all of the sentient characters get overwritten.
Yeah.
Or we don't know if they get overwritten or they're it's very strange how it actually works because they've never actually plugged back in the game with someone missing. Although we do know that as a racing game, having Vanellope missing wouldn't be a problem. But if they replug in the game, it should reboot to its factory settings. Although, because it's a newer game, it may have RAM that holds its own system. So there's ways you can work it out. But basically that I don't even know anymore. We've gotten way off the rails here, Philip. But it's a good game. A good movie. Suffice it to say, Ralph saves the day through the power of love, as you do. And everything's okay. And then if you're like Phil, you leave early and you don't see the after credits scene.
We had to go to the bathroom.
Tristan, see, that's why Tristan goes up and goes to the bathroom in the middle of the film. You wait till a scene that's not that dramatic, and then you go pee. That's what you do.
I know. Well, it was me too, but we didn't feel that bad till the end. Then I was like, oh, we gotta go. So
yeah, that's fine.
All right, spoil me. What were these end credits?
So the first one is there's a little girl driving home. Mother asks, "Did you like the movie?" And he says, "Yeah, but there was a scene in the trailer that wasn't in the movie, and that made me sad." And then they cut to the scene in the movie that was in the trailer, which is Ralph feeding the bunny the pancakes. That was in the trailer, but wasn't in the movie. And here it is in the movie. And so they get that thing in there. And how he's in that game, which is not an internet-connected game, it's clearly a children's pad that it's connected to that really wouldn't have either Wi-Fi. I mean, I guess maybe if she's on an iPad that has a data plan. I don't know. Although it's not even really an internet-connected game. And we'd imply that he's in every game at that
but
time.
Do they need the Wi-Fi, or can they travel through electrical lines? I mean, you could say maybe when in there when it was charging.
Travel through electrical lines, but then they're stuck in that game. Basically, there's a lot of things that don't make sense about that, except for the fact that people thought it was fun. Again, don't go into this film and try to analyze the logic. And what I'll say, it's all fridge logic. It's all logic after you watch it. We go, hey, wait a minute. Because it is an entertaining film as you're watching it. And then the last one is at the very end of the credits, they put up this little flash that says, and now a scene from Frozen 2. Click here. And you click it, and it's Wreck-It Ralph doing never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, gonna run around and desert you. So yeah, it's Wreck-It Ralph Rickrolling everyone.
Nice.
Yes, which is a great, fun tie-in to those Marvel films with their after-credit scenes. And And the last one where they basically had it from the Sony one, where they just have Captain America come out and says, "You're probably waiting for so long for something to happen," and then nothing happens.
So is that like the Disney plan now? It's like, hey, people love those those MCU credit scenes. Let's do that.
On occasion, I don't think they'll do it in the more dramatic pieces, but yeah.
No.
End credit scenes are fun, and when they're self-referential, I think you'll get a lot that are self-referential. Mm-hmm. Although, as was pointed out by Deadpool, the very first after-credit scenes was actually compared to payoff, which might have actually been a Touchstone production. So, all circles back. Anyway, they saved. One thing I did want to talk about is the race scene when Vanellope steals Shank's car.
Yes.
I gotta tell you, man, it just shows you how good CGI is getting and how we are rapidly going away from a world of physical stunts. Because I think all the stunts in that, they look so amazing and they were so well done. I mean, I think it's still a long way before we have human actors replaced by people, but I can tell you, we're going to get to this spot where stunts are done CGI.
Oh yeah, keep people safe, but I think it's even like a comment on the video game industry now. I mean, have you seen some of the graphics on some of these? I mean, I haven't played it, but I mean, just watch those commercials for that new Spider-Man game for PlayStation 4. Holy crap!
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting dichotomy in the video game world because you have these home games you can have that can have all this RAM, and then you have these mobile games that everyone is playing. Mm-hmm. Tristan was talking about first off, Fortnite, which is an online game. Mm-hmm. It does not have that level of realism, but it's super popular. Apparently, it's only on the iOS; it's not on the Android yet, which is frustrating for him because I'm not buying that kid an Apple phone. Ben can get an Apple phone when he gets a job.
I'm not sure what platforms, but I think they're on some of the platforms too, like maybe PlayStation or something. You can do it through that or whatever.
On PlayStation? Okay, well, they'll love that. Mm-hmm. Ben loves brands, though. He wants a Nintendo Switch and a Macintosh and an iPhone. There are better products out there, but he's convinced. Anyway, yeah. So that was Wreck-It Ralph. It was a good movie. Big thumbs up. But this has it all. It's got your conspiracies. It's got your questions about the logic of the universe, and it's a perfect superconnectivity topic.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good movie. It's a big thumbs up. But I'd say it's a good movie to take your children to. But there's enough in jokes about the internet and online life that it'll keep the adults entertained. Also.
Well, and one of the things I think about it is that it does have enough, pathos, as they say. It has enough. Yeah, I'm talking.
He's getting real, people.
Visual medium film.
He's getting right in the camera, people. He's getting real.
You got it. Well, sometimes I get all the way back and I realize, I'm not framed well. I like to come in a little bit more. And
there's not a bad side to Charlie Esser. Come on.
There's not a bad side, but you can frame a shot poorly. And I have a stationary cam. And I do come, I have been in the video medium before.
I have been in film.
I have been in a film. I've actually been in a couple films.
I am an actor.
I am actor. Anyway, bottom line is that that the film has a lot of heart too. And I posted on Facebook. This is if you don't like laughing and crying at the same time, this is not the film for you. Because you will cry. Because there is so much emotion to this. Like, the fact that Ralph is this big, dumb guy. And, he's kind of like Lenny from Of Mice and Men.
Mice and Men, yeah.
In that he doesn't know that the thing he wants is bad,
Yeah.
He's like Frankenstein. He's like, he just knows bad good. He doesn't know the complexity of emotions yet. But he gets there, which also shows that the programming can evolve. Which I think is maybe even the deeper theme throughout all of Wreck-It Ralph, is that these characters can evolve. They can become more than what they once were. And that's how you get Terminator. You want to talk about comic books, Phil?
Yeah, let's get to some comics.
Let's talk Spider-Geddon.
I was going to say, I know you read Spider-Geddon and your buddy Otto.
I did read Spider-Geddon. Okay, so first off, this is one of these things where it's like, and this is something, I wanted to make this mention in the last episode where Tyler was talking about like how the crossover this year for Arrowverse is going to be self-contained. Mm-hmm. And how, like, in other times, it hasn't seemed as self-contained. This is something that I really feel weird about, where I feel both about Justice League Dark and about Spider-Geddon, was that clearly there's a lot going on in other books.
Yeah.
That when I'm coming to this book, I'm like, wait, what happened?
Well, there's a lot of spin-offs, and then like in Spectacular Spider-Man, Moreland's after Peter Parker, so that's why the 616 Peter Parker isn't in this book. And
yeah, but like in this one, we have Spider-Woman, who apparently has the Jewel of Solace.
Yeah.
And again, why don't you smash this jewel? There's not a Spider-Hulk that they can pull in from some other universe that can go, Spider-Hulk, smash! And not for nothing, why don't they have a Spider-Hulk? Really? If you're going to be going up against these superpowered beings, like, wait, what if we had a Spider-Man that the madder he got, the stronger he got? And we could send him in there.
There has to be one there somewhere, because like there was a 2-issue arc in Web of Spider-Man from the 90s where he got infused with gamma radiation and became a Spider-Hulk. It has to be one out there.
The Spider-Hulk exists.
Yes.
There's a Hulk version of every character, just like there's a Spider version of every character. Why is there not a Spider-Hulk in this story? Because, again, to go for Otto's point, it's like we kind of need some tough guys. Mm-hmm. Interesting in this is this idea that I think supports my idea that two qualities of this. Remember my fan theory about what happened to the MC2 universe? That it never went through the incursions because it got separated by Otto. Because when May goes back, she makes a specific statement like, this feels different suddenly. Because she had been temporarily suspended from the web of the web of the universe. So her universe existed as all the incursions occurred, and then when the universe was recreated, she now has that connection again, so they can go back and get her. Head canon to real canon, it's there. And in this one, but you get this idea that you can separate a universe from the cosmos in this way, as Norman Osborn Spider-Man and Spider's Man do exactly that. And I love the idea of Spider's Man sending out all of his spiders, so he's in every universe. In every universe, there's a Spider's Man. Which doesn't make any sense because there's an infinite number of universes. Are there an infinite numbers of spiders in the Spider's Man? I don't know. Maybe there are. I don't know. I mean, who knows how these things...
Unless he can, I don't know if it's asexual or if he has to mate, but unless he can make more...
Yeah, maybe he can make more spiders. Honestly, I would imagine that, spiders are not that resilient. You probably would have to make more spiders on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So, and maybe, you send one spider in and then they bring another spider and then that spider can go out and create 2 more spiders and 2 more spiders. So, I mean, theoretically, if it is a psychic connection between these spiders and it can be extended to all spiders, maybe Spider's Man is actually going to be the hero of all of these universes. Because obviously the Spider's Mans wanted to eat the inheritors from the start. Mm-hmm. And they make a point about... And it was weird because they said, Spider-Woman's essence is infused with radiation. And the other guy says, radiation that doesn't hurt you. We should study it. It's like, well, wait. If the radiation doesn't hurt him, did he continue to eat her? Or, like, what happened? It's like...
I don't know if it's a level thing, because, like, the first time Peter Parker fought Moreland, the way he defeated him is, like, he let him eat, but it's before he injected himself with, like, more radiation. He, like, upped his level temporarily, so... I don't know if it's like a certain level of radioactivity or...
Maybe the radioactive quality of the spider blood was an evolutionary defense mechanism by the spider totem to defeat the inheritors. Yes. Bam! There you go. That's why it's all radioactive spiders now, because because obviously if you think about it, if these are creatures that have been preying on spiders for centuries, the spider totem is going to have to evolve. Mm-hmm. Because that is the difference between the inheritors and the spiders, is the spiders change and grow. and the inheritors do not, because they just replicate themselves in a constant loop, never growing or changing, and that's how they defeat them.
But can we talk about the ending here? Because they kind of call it out on the cover, and then at the end it's seemingly Otto betrays Ben Reilly, basically gives them to the inheritors, and basically to save his, Otto does it to save 616. But since they're calling it out big and loud on the cover, do you think it's like a double cross? Have they figured out a way, like maybe Ben Reilly isn't eatable because not only is he a clone, but Miles Warren like basically kept killing him and re-cloning him like 27 times. So is he like indigestible to the inheritors?
I think there's going to be something along those lines, and I mean, clearly Ben Reilly didn't know it, but obviously Otto figured something. And here's what I'm going to say: I think Otto is the new other. I think Otto figured that out. Maybe. That they think Ben Reilly is the other. But Otto maybe said, "But wait, because Otto already realized because Otto in the first issue, the inheritors couldn't eat Otto.
Yeah.
So maybe Otto thinks that there's something special about him, that they want Ben Reilly, and this idea that they can absorb Ben Reilly to get his knowledge of the cloning mechanism, which is also a little weird because they already resurrected like their grandfather or father or whatever. Doesn't he like know how to make these things? Wasn't that like the whole point of resurrecting him? I mean, it's a little inconsistent in the story there. But yeah, I assume this is a double cross that'll probably get resolved in an issue that isn't in Spider-Geddon. You have to find out what issue it gets resolved in.
Yeah. Because I believe there's only one more issue of the main Spider-Geddon. I think, it only goes to 5, so.
Well, they've already established that the Captain Universe power is coming back.
Yeah, because from the cover for next issue, I don't know if it's just the coloring or maybe Miles Morales gets the Captain Universe power.
Possibly, but actually, again, maybe it speaks to the idea of Otto getting it. Because they did say Otto's going to get his power, and it strikes me that if Otto got the Captain Universe power, if he is indigestible, and so here's what we're looking at. Otto is trying to locate the Captain Universe power.
Mm-hmm.
Otto knows he's indigestible to these beings.
Mm-hmm.
If Otto can get the Captain Universe power, and he's not actually counted as a Spider Totem, maybe they don't need the other. Maybe they have unlimited Captain Universe power that they can defeat these beings with, and maybe that's how he gets to be a real hero finally.
That, and I don't know if maybe, I'm trying to remember if they could eat Kane in the last crossover, but it's like, maybe it's clone bodies, because maybe I'm just waiting for next issue. It was like, Ben Reilly, like, you betrayed me, and he's like, oh, you're a clone body. I was like 80% sure they couldn't eat you, and Ben Reilly go, 80%! Yeah, well, I mean, but for what it's worth, that is totally something Otto would say. Yeah, I was pretty sure they couldn't eat you.
And for what it's worth, Otto would maybe say that about himself. It's like, the others can't be eaten. You could not be eaten. I could not be eaten. Kane could not be eaten. Kane had to be killed. I don't think, did they eat Kane?
I don't think they did. Well, they didn't, but I'm trying to remember if it's because they couldn't or they just didn't get the chance.
They just killed him. Yeah. They killed, but after he killed the father, then he like evolved into the spider monster, as I recall, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the story went from there. Yeah. It's spiders, Phil. Don't overthink it. It's like
I know.
Ralph. You can't always overthink these things.
So, what else did you read?
What else did I read?
Hulk. I know you read Hulk, Immortal Hulk.
I read Hulk with our
number 9.
We get the Red Hulk Absorbing Man crossover, which ends maybe poorly. I don't know. I don't know where we're going with this. Here we go. Final page. Spoilers. Final page. We get the demon creature who looks like a Gorgon thing here, who's like in charge. It's the other creature from beyond space-time. And here's what I'm going to tell you about this. Krell's going to be the hero.
Okay.
As you can see, Krell or Creel. Let's call him Krell. No, actually, it is. Man, I can't. I gotta go watch an old episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to find out how you pronounce Chris Creel.
I think they say. I'm pretty sure they say Creole because it's like C-R-E-E-L.
Yeah. Anyway,
I don't know.
That's what I always thought too. But anyway, he's going to be the hero of this because he's going to defeat the monster from within his own mind.
Mm-hmm. Because
not for nothing, Crusher is a sociopath of the First Order. He's going to be like, oh, you've been, what do you think you're dealing with here? You've been dealing with Banner and that Canadian dude. You've never actually faced someone who could be as evil as you. You think you're evil, buddy? Let me tell you some of the stuff I've done. I was in prison before Loki gave me his powers. One of the things I love about this book, though, again, is the call out again to the first Hulk series. Trying to steal the clothes off my clothesline! Which is such a David Banner thing to do. So he usually left money afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Get a little political where they say, it's a different world now, Krell, we can do whatever we want to the guardsmen. Basically saying, person currently in the White House, man, comics have gotten real political lately. And I endorse it.
Yes, but haven't they always on somewhat of a level been political? At least more.
Well, they've always been political, but here's what I'll say. Comic books have always been political, but you never really knew what side of the politics they were going to fall on.
Yeah.
You've got your objectivists questions, and you've got your, you had a lot of very equal observation of, this political idea is somewhat silly, and this political idea is somewhat silly. And it kind of speaks to their current political environment where everyone's like, no, this is not normal, this is wrong.
They're drawing a line.
This is a problem. Yeah, Well, because, and again, it's like I always say, it's like, you see this in politics right now where that person in the White House is losing support of even his supporters. Mm-hmm. Even John Roberts is like, dude, he basically pushed John Roberts to now be the swing vote on the Supreme Court. You're going to see in the next 10 cases, he's going to side with the liberals. You watch. He is going to say, you know what, I'm not playing this anymore. This guy is dangerous and I'm not going to give him a single victory. And he's going to do it in the same kind of conservative way that whatever the guy that just got replaced did it, but he's going to do it, and he's going to say, this is a Supreme Court that needs to be independent. If I have to be the guy to be the independent voice, then I'm going to be it. Sorry, you got to politics there.
That's all right.
But definitely Crusher is going to be the hero of this because he's going to defeat this monster from inside his own mind, and he's going to make the point to the monster, much like they do every so often, where they say, you monsters, you think you're all this, but you don't really know how powerful humanity is. But the essence of humanity goes a lot deeper than you think it does, and we have access to things that you could never even imagine. Want to talk about two other books real quick. Exiles.
Okay.
Which is fun. Exiles 10, where you meet Caliph Doom. And, it's a nice little tie around with the story. Like I say, they've gone into all these different dimensions, and now they're in a dimension that's based on fictional reality. And their Nightcrawler character, who's the daughter of Nightcrawler and Scarlet Witch, she gets made, who is playing Sherazade, she gets made the king of the Caliphate, yada, yada, yada. And then everyone gets back to what appears to be 616 New Jersey. And then they meet Kamala Khan again, with, again, other versions of themselves. So there's another group of exiles out there in the universe. So that's exciting. Yeah, The Exiles is a good book. I really like Exiles. I highly recommend it. And I don't have the book here, but I really want to talk up Marvel Zombies 1.
Okay.
That was the latest Marvel Zombies 1.
Yeah.
It was really good. I don't know if you got the chance to read it, but it follows basically the surviving heroes in Manhattan as they're dealing with all of the other zombies, and it deals with Simon Garth. It's told from the perspective of Simon Garth.
Mm-hmm.
And this little kid who gets the power to change bodies with Simon Garth, and Simon Garth is his protector because Simon Garth doesn't eat people. Because we used to be people. We don't eat people. And so, though he's happy to meet all the other zombies, he thinks all the other zombies are acting kind of weird. Because they're not real zombies. But bonds with this kid, and Moon Girl's there with this other kid, and they create a device that's basically a neutron bomb to wipe out the zombies. But they need a suicide bomber to use it. And basically, Moon Girl decides to betray the rest of humanity and not detonate the bomb so that Simon Garth and his friend could escape, presumably with Moon Girl, away from Manhattan, because the zombie apocalypse, it's a lost cause. And I wonder if they're going to continue on with this, because it makes sense that they should, because now they have two age-appropriate characters, one male, one female, to go off on adventures in the zombie universe with a robotic red devil dinosaur and Simon Garth, the zombie. So I'm hoping that gets continued. It was a very touching story about the futility of fighting against, fighting to preserve something that is already lost. And they're just trying to make a new life in the new universe. So I enjoyed it.
So did I know I mentioned it to you. I don't know if you got a chance to read it. Did you read Marvel Knights 1 or 2 yet?
Not yet. I just started reading it when we had to start.
But yeah, so I don't know how much you saw, but yeah, the first one opens up with like Matt Murdock in a cemetery. Can't remember who he is, and
yes,
that's when police officer Frank Castle shows up, and kind of reminds Daredevil, Matt Murdock, that he's Daredevil, and Frank Castle's getting. It seems like I don't know if all the superhumans and stuff don't remember who they are, but he's being Frank Castle's being directed by Bruce Banner, who is like, oh, I go to bed at night, and when I wake up, there's like these handwritten notes left for me, with all these names and stuff, like almost in a child's handwriting. So I don't know if no one remembers who they are, but somehow the Hulk's in Banner and remembers and is writing down all these names for him and stuff.
Oh, I can't wait to read this.
Yeah, and then in this issue 2, Frank Castle goes to Elektra and, is telling her all this stuff. And I don't know if she starts to remember, but she's like, I don't know if that life's real or not, where I kill and I'm an assassin and I've died at least once. She's like, but I don't want that life. Even if was my life, I don't want that life again.
Oh, cool.
But, oh no, do you mind if I spoil the end of the first issue for you?
Away.
This is what's going to hook you. At the end, I don't know how much he remembers about, what happened and everything, but Wilson Fisk, they're like, oh yeah, go, keep an eye on Matt, telling his guys, keep an eye on Matt Murdock and stuff. But he's like, then they show him bow to someone who I'm assuming is the one behind all this. He's like, basically, oh, master, I'm so, and who is it on the last page of issue 1 he's bowing to?
I guess Loki.
Nope. Victor Von Doom.
Victor Von Doom. Oh, is this the Emperor Doom storyline retold?
I don't know, maybe. I don't know.
That'll be exciting. I can't wait to read it. I'm looking forward to it. So, okay. that is our new hook. So, everyone, let's all read the last 2 issues of Marvel Knights. Get it digitally from Marvel.com, because you can always buy your digital comics there if your store doesn't have it. And we'll talk about it all next week on Super Connectivity. Let's do our social media. Phil, how can people find you?
All right. Anybody want to do interviews like comic creators, get a hold of me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com. And on Twitter, I'm at nightwingpdp.
And of course, you can always follow me or write me at Old Man Fashion email with the Miles of Possible instead at Superconnectivity blog at gmail.com. That's Superconnectivity blog, all one word, at gmail.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter as the live tweet agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Cloak and Dagger, and other things at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsselCR. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality.
Bing! And there we go. Thank you for connecting with us, ladies and gentlemen. Please super connect with us once again next week. Good
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Well, actually, no, it's not afternoon yet. It's 11:47
a.m.
Yeah, that's not afternoon. Afternoon is afternoon.
Well, the afternoon's coming before evening. You just said good night.
Oh, I said good evening? Oh, well, fair enough. Oh, so good morning, people.
Well, I mean, this is a podcast.
Overly British about it.
This is a podcast too. It could be. You could be listening to this any time of the day or night. So
the British say good morning as a
good day,
sir.
Whatever
you say when you think it's bye. I don't know what the opposite of a salutation is. Tell me, folks. Look it up. Email me.
We're sentient programs.